Welcome back, guys. Well, Fox 4 News reporting that Charlotte County, Florida, has the highest foreclosure rate in the entire nation currently. That's insane. That's insane. This is coming from an article they recently published that is taking data from Adam, an Adam report they put out, and I'll link all this in the description as well, showing that out of the entire country, Charlotte County has the highest foreclosure rate. They also have the highest underwater rate. So what they're referring to is 14% of homes in Charlotte County are currently considered underwater. Now, that's not hard to imagine when you see the mania that we had back in 21, 22. We've peaked in pricing, and now prices are visibly and quantifiably on the decline. So, if you bought at the peak, unfortunately, yeah, there's probably going to be some loss of equity there. There's just no way around it, especially with all the competition, all the listings that we have in and around Charlotte County as well. It's not just Charlotte County. Like, generally, people look up and down Southwest Florida, and that's one of the areas they consider. Now, despite that bleak report, local realtors in the article are saying it's not as bad as it sounds. Basically, this is really more of a leveling off than a downturn. And I don't know, you guys let me know what you think about that in the comments section if you get a chance to check out the article as well. But it's not that much of a stretch, to be honest with you, because these headlines, they pop, they sound very interesting. They're very, very alarmist. Don't get me wrong. I see this and I'm like, oh my God, look at this. But, the agent in the article does go on to say that sounds like that's a really high number. It's 1 in 198 properties are considered foreclosure in Charlotte County currently. So when you pull all the listings off the MLS, of which we have 3,700 single-family home listings, according to them, you find that only about 14 are currently listed as REOs or foreclosures. So if that's the highest number in the country, guys, I mean, that's not a lot. Yeah, that's actually 0.3% of total active listings in Charlotte County are under foreclosure listing currently. Now, we don't know what's in pre-foreclosure. We don't know who has foreclosure stays. Obviously, we don't know all of that information. But, to hit an article like that, it's definitely going to catch your eye. And if you don't read through the entire thing, I did go and check that on the MLS, by the way. That is correct. There's only about 14 or 15 of them out of 3,700 listings. So you've got to read between the lines. And basically, at the end of the day, I'm way less concerned about the foreclosures and much more concerned about 3,700 listings. Now, I did think it was interesting that the only place they found comparable currently was Washington, D.C. I don't know why there would be an influx of listings or foreclosures there. I have no idea why anybody would want to sell all their houses around Washington, D.C. right now. Maybe you guys know. Tell me in the comments if you know the reasoning. But I think this is a very rational approach. They went on to say in the article that, while we're seeing time on market go up, it's basically gone up from a really unhealthy level of supply. And they mentioned that we had almost a negative inventory back in the really competitive years, which we did, guys. I mean, you've seen my charts on some of my data. It was crazy. So on the buy end, yeah, it's not a bad thing. I don't know if it's a leveling off or a downturn. I mean, when you look at something like the condo market, which I get asked about a lot, January's numbers for condos in Charlotte County and townhomes, the average sales price was down 30% year over year. The median sales price was down 21% year over year. That's data from the Florida realtors. That's not leveling off. I don't know. Now, I get where they're saying we did see 20, 30% rises very rapidly. So to see 20, 30% declines maybe is viewed as a leveling off, but that seems like a pretty strong downturn to me. Again, I'm not so much worried about the 0.3% foreclosures. It's all the amounts of listings. I mean, I think we had in January over 1,100 condo and townhome listings in Charlotte County as well. So that's what's putting all the pressure on this. Not so much that foreclosures are coming up, in my opinion. And that even extends to hurricane damaged properties, guys. A lot of people think that there is a plethora of hurricane damaged homes down here right now, but there's not. After Ian, the wind damage, almost every home had some form of wind damage, but Hurricane Milton and Helene were obviously limited to storm surge for the most part. There was some wind damage. So there's just, and they cover that in this article. I'm glad they go over that as well. There's just not the amount of distress damaged homes that people think there are, even people that, like they're saying in here, even people that are coming looking for them are finding that they're not as prevalent as they thought they'd be. So, the water can only go a certain amount of places, guys, and that's really what the past 2 hurricanes were. They were a water threat. The wind, yeah, after Hurricane Ian, every house, like you throw a rock and hit a house with hurricane damage. It just, whether it was one shingle or the roof caved in, that's just how it was. A lot of people also are quick to jump in and say, oh, you're never going to get insurance in Florida. I see it in the comment section all the time. That's a comment that's made a lot, is you can't get insurance in Florida. That is not true. It's not true. It's actually very easy to get insurance in Florida for most properties. You may pay a lot for it, but you can get it. You may not like the bill, but it's here. It's not like you can't insure these houses. It's just some of them have really, really crazy premiums depending on the condition, location. People will ask me, what's an average insurance policy going for? It depends where the house is. How high is the house built up? How old is the house? What kind of protection does it have? What is it? What's it made of? What's the foundation? What kind of roof? Like, it's so hard to say definitively, in any given area. So like you take an area like this in Northport that I'm walking through, most of these homes I'm passing, to me, appear to be early 2000s homes. They're elevated. I assume this is an ex-flood zone. So, it's not going to be too crazy here. It's not going to be, probably not going to be $5-6 grand. I would like something like this. I'm not an insurance guy, guys, but if I had to take a wild guess, some of these houses, I'd say it's $2,500 to $3,500, potentially $4,000, depending on the age, but it could be less. So, it's hard to classify any of these things because there's so much variance. I mean, even block to block, each side of the street can be so different. But to say that you're not going to get insurance if you move here is just not true. And I get asked, Ben, why so many listings in Charlotte County? Why are there so many there? There's a lot of in Lee County too, guys. But they cover this in the article. It's what I've always said. It's people can't afford the cost of living here. And, according to a 2023 census poll that they have in this article, they said 86% of residents lived in Charlotte County full time. Now, I don't know how they define that. I don't know if they're using like just as a Florida resident and they're seasonal, but that seemed very high to me. 86% of people. And the average income per household in 2023 was only about 66 grand. So that was okay at 2019 prices. Becomes a lot harder when that's the average income at 2022 prices, 2023 prices. So that's where the issue lies. It's the median household income, regardless if you work here, if that's your pension, wherever you come from, that's your median household income. And the prices basically are going to have to adjust to reflect that. There's no way around it. And they do cover that in this article. I was very glad to hear them say that. That's one of our biggest problems. 66,000 average household income is not enough to sustain the cost of living currently in Charlotte County and a lot of surrounding areas as well. So when you put your house on the market, all of a sudden you find that people who live here can't afford to buy it. People who want to retire here can't afford to buy it. And that's one of the reasons, upon many of the others I've mentioned, that why inventory balloons. Now, some of the lesser known challenges in the Punta Gorda MSA are covered in an article that a subscriber sent me showing it was the top 25 towns to retire in Florida, and Punta Gorda was number 12. And when I read the article, I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing. So they were naming the reasons why it was one of the best places. And obviously it sits along Charlotte Harbor, our Florida Gulf Coast. So it has a nice downtown area with access to shops and restaurants. And it does. I would like to see a little more industry there. It's definitely a sleepier, quieter, historic town, though the traffic has gotten crazy because everybody's kind of found that out. But what struck me as odd is, this report was released about a month ago. And they go on to say, the 19,000 residents have access to quality health care at the Bayfront Health facility, which is destroyed. It's not reopening. The town does not have a hospital currently. That's one of the challenges that it's facing. There's no medical care down there anymore. So you've got to go to Fort Myers or here in Northport or Port Charlotte. There's nothing close by currently. I don't know what the plans are to fix that. Economically, you guys know we have the issue with Sunseeker, which was going to be a big employer. I don't know if that's going to happen now. I don't know what they're going to do with it. So That's another one. But the one that really got me was, and this is quoting from this article. I'll put this article in the description as well. Punta Gorda's low crime rates and minimal hurricane risk compared to coastal cities make it an attractive option for retirees seeking safety and security. Guys, read the room. Read the room, guys. I mean, 3 hurricanes since 2022 have hit Punta Gorda. Never mind that, we had Hurricane Charlie in 2004, which devastated it. So I don't know about that one. I don't know a lot of other towns in Florida that have been hit with 4 hurricanes over the previous 20 years. Maybe you guys do, inform me, but that's not, come on. Like a little cursory research here, people. So guys, since I did get a special request from the builder of this actual home, that's what I'm doing down here today, I'm going to take you through a tour of this house, and you guys let me know what you think. Guys, so this is 4313 Appleton Terrace here in Northport, Florida. 3-car garage, 4 beds, 3 baths, just under 2,000 square feet, brand new construction. Here's your main living area. My favorite part about this house probably is this in-law suite right when you come in here. I think it's so awesome that it's right next to the door. You can use this for an office or for any relatives or anyone staying with you. Has its own dedicated bathroom. This is the 3rd bathroom. Honestly, I think it's really cool. You don't see a lot of this, so we'll take you through the rest of the house. Here is your living area. You have a decent sized lanai over there in the back right corner. We'll get you back through the kitchen. The primary is in the back there, so kind of a split floor plan. We'll take you back through here. We'll get you into the laundry area. And as I mentioned last video, people have been asking to see garages, so we're going to take you into the 3-car garage. This has a little additional bump out here for the 3rd car section, so you do get some more storage back there on the left if you need it. That way you can get 3 cars in here and still have places to put your stuff. Speed you through to the 1st guest bedroom. Decent sized room, nothing too crazy. We have storage here. That's your linen closet. This is your 2nd bath in the same style as the 1st. We'll go high, we'll go low, and then I'll spin you into the 3rd bedroom, and we're going to cut right back into the kitchen. I actually got a phone call while I was shooting this, so I got to do a hard cut here, which upsets me, but here we go. All right, so here's your kitchen area, nice size island, single deep sink. That's your pantry back there to the left. Give you one more spin back so you can kind of see, if you're in the kitchen, this is what the rest of the house looks like. And I'll show you the lanai really quickly. These are impact windows, guys. So that's a nice touch, no shutters. Here is your primary. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm super proud of myself how I kept myself out of the mirror here. As we go into the primary bathroom, you have 2 walk-in closets, one on the right, one on the left. And then here is your primary bath as I hide myself in the privacy toilet area. See what I did there? See what I did? And we'll take you out one more time into the living area. This is currently priced at $439,000. You can check it out online. I gave you the address, and let me know what you think in the comments. We'll get back to the video. And since I mentioned condos earlier, I will cover that a little bit. People have asked for condo updates, how the new law has affected things, how's new insurance affected things. If you've been keeping track of the channel over the previous year, it's devastated the condo and townhome market. Absolutely crushed it. It's, like I said, 30% price declines in Charlotte County. Now, it's not as bad. I don't know the rest of the state. It's not as bad in some areas, but most of Southwest Florida, it's getting hit pretty good. I mean, it's just, the deadline has passed to have your milestone inspections and your structural reserve studies done. So we'll have a clearer path forward this year. But really, I mean, just the uncertainty of it all, when complexes hadn't had that done and these things were still lingering about. There's still assessments from Hurricane Ian on units that we're still trying to figure out what they're going to be, that we're negotiating on. It's nuts. So until all that is sorted out, and some of these places are still damaged. There's still damage from Hurricane Ian or Hurricane Milton or Helene, whatever it may be. It's taking years to unravel the damage that has been done here, both through storms and legislation, which I think we needed. Don't get me wrong. I do believe we need this legislation because this was neglect, guys. The reason most of these complexes are in this situation is because people wanted to keep HOA fees low for 20, 30 years, not fix anything, and then let someone else deal with it. And here we are. Well, unfortunately, now we have to deal with it. So it's been crippling, guys. I mean, I think I told 1,100 condos for sale in Charlotte County, condos and townhomes in January. We sold 54. People want condos still, don't get me wrong, but they want them at a price where they feel they're being appropriately compensated for any risk that they're assuming in future assessments, future HOA fee rises, everything. They got to do it at a price that I'm willing to take the risk at this price. So it's been very, very disruptive. And new condo sales, not doing too hot really either. I think people are just kind of leery of these things. So, you look at new condo construction and it seems, unfortunately, one, they priced it all way too high. As it's coming down, it's getting absorbed. But, some of these things are 1,100 square feet, and at $300,000, there's no demand for that. $250,000, that's a rough demand, even for a new condo in some places I'm seeing. So, yes, the condo market has been greatly disrupted across pretty much the entire state. It's not even just Southwest Florida. I mean, anywhere you guys can give me input on what you're seeing in your areas as well, that would be extremely useful. But, yeah. How you doing, sir? Hey, same here, my friend. Hey, that's right. That's right. I was pointing up to any day you wake up to that. So, and then there is the allure of Florida, guys. It's the sun a lot. So, I did get asked recently, do I see people coming to Florida slowing down? No, I don't. I mean, I don't. Even with all the challenges, it's sun and fun pretty much all of the year, you know what I mean? And it's not for everybody, don't get me wrong. Some people hate the summers, some people like the seasons, but is the migration going to be what it was in 21 and 22? Absolutely not. But it's still looking stronger than the amount of people leaving. Though I would like to see Charlotte County's numbers because that's a lot of listings. That's a lot of listings. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.